This is Drone, K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The DRC Learning Net will start in 5 minutes.
W0TX repeater.
This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into net mode.
PL off.
All right, good evening and welcome. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron. That's spelled phonetically Delta Oscar, Romeo Oscar November. I am net control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net tonight. This is a directed net for the purpose of connecting amateurs seeking help or advice with Elmers willing to mentor. This net meets every Wednesday, except the third Wednesday of the month at 1930 hours on W0TX repeaters with frequencies 145.490, which is linked with 448.625. Both have a negative offset in tone of 100. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? For recognition by net control, please use your call sign. Everyone is welcome. This is an on-air meeting for amateurs seeking help and Elmers giving their time to mentor. If you have any questions for the Learning Net and don't yet have your license, or otherwise wish to contact the net, you may do so via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com. We also have a public mailing list, groups.io/g/ham learning net. You can also find us online on youtube.com/WEREGR8, or if you search for W0TX DRC, you should be able to find us there. This is K1DBC Net Control. We will begin by inviting Elmers only to check in. Without traffic, all Elmers, please check in now.
Alpha 0, Juliet Kilo, AA0JK, good evening.
All right, I'd like to thank and acknowledge the following Elmer, AA0JK. Fred, thank you for checking in. Online, we also had Kevin, KE0KPS. Thank you for checking in online. If you are licensed or unlicensed, you're more than welcome to check in online, and we'll get you checked into the net here. All other check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. Please use ITU phonetics as you check in and indicate if you have traffic or questions for Elmers as you check in. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Foxtrot Quebec, Troy, Denver.
November 0 Echo Yankee Zulu, Jim in Jefferson County.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Charlie Uniform Charlie, Andrew in Highlands Ranch.
Kilo 0, Lima Alpha India, K0LAI, Larry in Lakewood, no traffic.
W0TX repeater.
Kilo 6 Hotel Juliet Victor, Tom Arvada, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Alpha Whiskey Charlie Brian, Wheat Ridge, no traffic.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. KF0AFQ Troy, N0EYZ Jim, KF0CUC Andrew, K0LAI Larry, K6HJV Tom, and KF0AWC Brian. One more call. If your suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
Whiskey 0, Foxtrot, Charlie, Cherry, and Lone Tree, no traffic.
Okay, and that time we had W0FFC. Jerry, thank you for checking in. We'll go ahead and take the whole alphabet. If your suffix begins with the letters A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, please check in now.
Kilo 0, Yankee Echo Sierra, Cannon Broomfield, no traffic.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
WD0 CIV, Charles and Denver, no traffic.
This is K1ABC Net Control. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. K0IES Ken, N0TRP Jim, and WD0CIV Charles. There was one other call there, but I really couldn't pick up anything in there. If you want to go ahead and try again, go ahead.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Bravo Hotel Romeo, Rye in Westminster. A couple of questions about DMR.
Okay, gotcha. I think I gotcha that time. KF0BHR Donald Don in Westminster with a couple questions about DMR. Sounds good. We'll come back around to you here in just a moment. All right, another call. We'll go ahead and take the whole alphabet. This is K1DBC Net Control. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, just for the counter, if you have any traffic or questions, please call now with your call sign, your name, and let us know if you have any traffic questions. We're taking all calls, A through Z. Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Again, I'll invite you over to our youtube.com/WEREGR8. I see a few people are joining. Appreciate that. You're more than welcome to join in on the conversation if you're not licensed or just kind of see behind the scenes. There will be a few more opportunities to check in throughout the net, but I'll do one more call at the moment. If you'd like to check into the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net, please call now. Okay, sounds good. This is K1DBC Net Control. I'll go ahead and throw it over to KF0BHR, Donald, with a couple questions. Your first transmission wasn't too good, but the second one was. So whatever difference you made, it was definitely a lot clearer. But if you want to go ahead and try, go ahead. All right, the audio is not terribly great, but I was able to pick out that you were asking about code plugs. Depending on what type of model radio, there's a good starting point. The RM Ham group, Rocky Mountain Ham, rmham.org is their website, and they have a sample code plugs page, and you can go and download for Anytones or Connect Systems, Hyteras, Motorola, and that's a good starting point. They also had a few YouTube videos recently about on their RM Ham University. If you go to the top there, you go to RM Ham University, and they should have a video session for a DMR presentation that they did on October 10th here. There is another net. Let me drop here for a moment, and let me go ahead and if you have any follow-up on that, go ahead, BHR. Okay, there was one other thing I was going to say, and there's a few digital learning nets, or there's a few digital nets that take place. There's the High Country Radio. It's ColoradoDigital.net. They take place on Tuesday nights, 7 or I forget when the net is actually. I haven't checked in a while. Yeah, it's 7:30 p.m. On DMR BrandMeister 31088. They have on P25, YSF, and D-Star, NXDN. They're on everything, and they bridge through all those. So you can join in whatever technology you have, and that's a really good net as well. I know that there's another digital net. Let me bring that up as well.
W0TX repeater.
Well, it's coming up here. It's the Doug Homer, KE0DC, puts it on for the CRG, the I think it's the Castle Rock Repeater Group. And they used to have a website, mycrg.club, but I'm not sure it's working anymore. But they, let me bring up that info here. Okay, yeah, the Digital Learning Net. Let's see, Wednesdays. It's actually Wednesdays at 7 p.m. That's why I haven't really been able to join that one too. But yeah, Wednesdays at 7 p.m. You can join them on Skyhub Link, or I think there is, I think it's or Google Meet. I thought there would be. I thought it was on some sort of digital as well. But you can just find more info on their Facebook as well. But I'll throw it out to BHR or anyone else on that topic of digital radios or code plugs, or BHR, if you have any other follow-up, go ahead. Okay, if you are transmitting, we definitely aren't getting you anymore on the repeater. If you have been saying anything, again, plenty of info out there. Again, the Denver Radio Club. You can go to W0TX.org, and you can find a repeater listing that we have. And we have a couple of digital repeaters as well, a BrandMeister and a C4FM digital only Wires X.
KE0BHR. Sorry, I'm having some antenna problems here. Thank you for those. This is for the High Country Digital Radio and the digital learning. I'll be checking those out. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely not a problem. The guys that run this, that High Country Digital Radio, their net, they're pretty active within the Pi-Star and hotspot community. So they're very active in the digital realm. So yeah, if you have any questions about digital, that would be a good place to check. And they do check. Take online check-ins, and it's a pretty smooth process. And with digital radio, it's really cool. Even from your radio, you can just key up, and then we can see your call sign and whatnot, so you don't even need to use voice to check in either. So pretty cool nets, yeah. All right, anyone else on the topic of digital radios, code plugs, getting into them, or anything else about digital radios? Go ahead. Yeah, Andrew, KF0CUC, go ahead.
Yes, I just got my hotspot put together, and I'm going through the setup, and I found some different guides online. I'm just wondering if anyone has any recommendations for guides that have gone well in setting up Pi-Star. I'm going to be specifically looking at Yaesu System Fusion, I think, to begin with, and then maybe branching out to EMR. But definitely looking for any recommendations on where to start with that. Setup besides the random YouTube videos I found on the net.
Good question there. Yaesu System Fusion and digital hotspots. I don't myself, unfortunately, have a System Fusion transceiver, so I don't have much experience on that. Anybody have? And so he has Yaesu System Fusion, or Yaesu with System Fusion, and then the Pi-Star, it sounds like. So anyone have any experience or be willing to lend a hand or give some good information on some good tutorials? Go ahead. All right, this is K1DBC. I know the site that I went to for getting up and running, at least with BrandMeister, I'd imagine they probably have some good info. And I think this site is actually run by one of the people that runs the Digital Learning Net, the Colorado HD Net, I believe, or they know them at least. They're pretty good friends. So amateurradionotes.com is a pretty good starting point for Yaesu System Fusion and BrandMeister setup within Pi-Star. I'll have to find the exact link here. But that's amateurradionotes.com would be at least my input there. But anyone else on that, or CUC, go ahead.
W0 Fox Charlie. I believe we had a couple sessions, Denver Radio Club last year, on Fusion Radio, and I had some help from one of the hams, whose name I can't remember right now, living in Lone Tree, who is an expert on digital fusion. So let's go back and look maybe 4, 5, 6 months ago for one of the meetings with DRC.
That is a good point, and I think that has been brought up within a recent Learning Net here too. I'll have to go and try to dig up the presenter for that and see if we can get some subject matter experts on that to help you out, CUC. I'll try to do that by the end of the net if I can here. But yeah, good information there, FFC. There definitely has been quite a couple of meetings that we've had. So there's definitely some experts, some pretty good, knowledgeable people in the club. Anyone else on digital radio or anyone else on that? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's WD0CIV. I didn't hear the question, what the other person was using. I think it was a Pi-Star, and he was using Fusion radio to talk to it. Anyway, I don't know if I've heard his question right, but if you'd repeat that, maybe I can help a little bit.
Sounds good. This K1DBC. I think it was just kind of initial setup and kind of getting things connected and working. Just kind of getting things paired up.
Well, the most important thing to do is you're going to have to set up a frequency in the radio, and you're going to have to, name it so that you'll know that that frequency is for your Pi-Star only. And then take your power button and lower the power as low as you can get it. If you go less than 1 watt, fine.
W0.
That's fine. Yeah, lower the power down when you're talking to the Pi-Star, because it doesn't need like 100 watts going into it. Because you're actually right next to it. For your radio,
All right, this is just on the YouTube here. You guys can hear what I'm hearing from the video. Sounds like Charles keeps timing out here. I don't know if that's just me or not.
you have to have your that might be on your Wi-Fi, and your Pi-Star has to be the same as what your I think I timed it out. Anyway, yeah, you have to have your IP addresses the same, so that your computer can see Pi-Star, and that way you'll know whether you're transmitting, and you'll have to do all the configuration for either D-Star to Fusion or Fusion to D-Star or whatever you'd like. Anyway, I better get off here before I time it out again. This is WD0CIV. We're going to turn it back to net control.
All right, no problem there, CIV. This is K1DBC. I don't know if it's just me, but a couple people have been scratchy over the evening. I'm not too sure, but no worries. Yeah, you got a couple things in there. And yeah, while you were speaking, I was trying to bring some things up here. Yeah, as you mentioned, you kind of have to set up at least I can really only speak for BrandMeister, but you set up a paired frequency, a frequency on your radio and turn it down, the power, and then in the Pi-Star you have to understand the IP address so you can get to the website for it, and then you have to enable YSF mode, and then you go in and set up the startup hosts, etc. So there is a little bit of info on there. This is I'm looking at FT70D, and they just set up the frequency on. Let's see, they were using 433.575. I don't know how old this video is, but yeah. Anyone else on that, or CUC? If you have any other follow-up, go ahead.
W0FFC, real quick. Check the August 2020 newsletter. The person who was talking there was Bill W0SUN, and who's an expert in both in setting up hotspots and also with Yaesu Fusion, W0SUN. Look in the August 2020 newsletter. You'll find an article and his slides.
JK.
Oh, thank you there for that info there, FFC, the August 2020 roundtable. Yeah, I'll try to bring that up there, W0SUN. AA0JK, Fred, go ahead on that.
AA0JK, also in the roundtable for July 2015, July of 2015. Jerry, W0GV, has got an article in there on Fusion Demystified. Yaesu Fusion Demystified. Hope that helps. Back to net control.
CUC comments?
All right, thank you there, Fred, for the info. CUC, Andrew, go ahead.
Yes, I was just going to say thanks. That's excellent info. I'll check out the article. I will check out the talk that happened last year. I should have been clear. I did actually get the Pi-Star connected on the network and was able to start the configuration. But one of the things that was mentioned was the frequency configuration, and I did want to be sure I set one that's within the band plan that's appropriate. So I assume that I should be using the band plan for this area for the appropriate frequencies for digital, since I'm going to be communicating, I guess, using C4FM, I assume, from my FT70D to the Pi-Star. So I think that gives me some places to start. I really appreciate the info, and hopefully by next week I'll be up and running. Yeah, thanks again. Back to net, KF0CUC.
All right, sounds good. W0F0CUC, Andrew. This is K1 or KF0CUC, Andrew. This is K1DBC. Yeah, absolutely. Just the the band plan, the ccarc.net. I think they have it as 446.7 through 447 is what's allowed for narrowband digital voice repeater output. Unless I'm looking at this, and then the input would be 441.8 through 442. So you got plenty of room to move there. Yeah, and that presentation was recent enough that I was able to actually capture that on our YouTube. So yeah, if you want to go back to that presentation, Bill does a presentation on hotspot confusion avoidance, and yeah, pretty good chat there. So if you ever want to check that out, that is available on YouTube as well. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Anyone else at the moment, while we're on the topic of digital radio hotspots or Yaesu System Fusion, please call on. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll go ahead and take this opportunity to take formal check-ins. If you've just tuned in or if you've been listening, my name is Daron. My call sign is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. I'm Net Control for the Learning Net. It's an on-air meeting for amateurs seeking help and Elmers giving their time to mentor and help us. Everyone is welcome to join in. If there's anyone who wishes to check in at this time, please do so with your call sign using IT phonetics, your name, and state if you have question or traffic for the net. Please call now.
Whiskey Delta 6, Delta Oscar Kilo Rich in Arvada. Just curious, there seems to be quite a bit of noise on the machine tonight. Has that been already mentioned?
Good question there, DOK. I had brought it up a little bit, only just on YouTube, but I didn't know if it was just me or not, but I'm glad that you had mentioned that. Yep, I know that when CIV was speaking, for some reason it was pretty kind of in and out. And then there was some odd beeping. I'm not sure if it timed out. Me putting it in the net mode should remove a timeout. But other people have been a little bit scratchy throughout the net. Yeah, I don't know. It's weather seems fairly okay. I guess mountains are getting a little bit more snow than we are here in the metro area. But yeah, I don't know.
W0TX repeater.
Comment.
Yeah, KE0JK. Fred, go ahead.
KE0JK, you are clear, Daron. No noise on your signal. You're clear.
Yeah, it seemed to drop off right after I mentioned it.
Oh, I was just checking something here. I thought I had, I think I had dropped my power down on my transceiver, but I'll have to go and check that. Yeah, thanks for the confirmation on the audio there. Yeah, it sounds like things are clearing up, at least for most of us. So if you're using a handheld radio, if you hear that there's some scratchiness or anything, you might want to try moving here or there. But you know, as long as you're within the range of the mountain range, in sight of the mountain range, you should be fine. All right, one more time. This is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. If you'd like to check in, please try to use your IT phonetics, state your call sign and your name, and let us know if you have any traffic or questions for the net. Please call now. Okay, with that, I'll go ahead and throw it out to the net. I don't see anyone else indicated they had any other traffic or questions for the net. But if you do, or if you'd like to bring up anything, please call now.
Question?
Yeah, KE0JK Fred with the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, just wondering, K6HJV, how is his 1 1/4 unit working?
HJV with an answer.
Yeah, K6HJV, go ahead.
No, the transverter is doing quite well, thank you. And in fact, I was just playing with it on the bench while I was listening to everybody gab away at the noise. Part of that noise problem is the receiver for the repeater. And if you don't, you might be able to break the repeater, but if you're down in signal strength, it's not going to get through.
Thank you, Tom. And good evening, Charles.
This is WD0CIV. Yeah, good evening there, Fred. Anyway, yeah, the reason my signal's lousy is because I'm trying to shoot a signal through a window to get to the repeater. So some places it's really good, and other places it's not very good at all. Anyway, that's all I got. I'm going to turn it back over to net control.
Hey, Charles, just open up the window.
Well, what I should do is open up the door because the door is a metal fire door, so it blocks a lot of signal.
Yeah, that breeze ought to feel pretty good, right? A0JK.
Turn the heat up.
Yeah, you probably hear the heater running in the background. It's running.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, no problem. We pretty much caught what you were saying there about the DMR stuff, and it's definitely the repeater has some issues potentially once in a while with the power output potentially, but it sounds like it works pretty well other than that. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Anyone else with any other topics, comments, questions, or anything for the net? Otherwise, I can bring up a few things, and we can bring it back to the net.
HJV with a possible answer.
Yeah, K6HJV, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Tom, K6HJV. Well, I was over at the workbench. I think somebody was asking about Fusion. The club does have a Fusion repeater on 449.775. It's strictly Fusion C4FM only, but that's again 449.775. And I usually monitor that along with a couple others when I'm in the shack. Back to you, Jerome.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we were, I think, talking about system fusion and a digital hotspot. But yeah, there is the C4FM only digital repeater that we do have dedicated. So that is another option if they have C4FM as well.
Comment, CUC?
Yeah, CUC, go ahead.
Hi, Fred. This is Andrew. I think one of my friends and I were on that repeater actually talking to you when we were able to get our first successful, well, his first successful Wires X to a repeater out of California. So nice running into you again. And yeah, I'm realizing that the hotspots don't do Wires X, so I'm trying to understand the Yaesu system fusion rooms. And so that's the next thing I'm going to be looking into. But yeah, nice running into you. Back to net control, KF0CUC.
Question?
Sounds good there with the follow-up there. Yeah, and I know we were speaking last week on that, and I think as we were looking into it, I was realizing that there is no Wires X hotspots or something like that, which is kind of odd. But yeah, with the question there, go ahead.
N0EYZ, I know you don't list a PL tone for the C4FM repeater. Does that mean you don't need one, or what?
Comment?
Yeah, go ahead with the CUC.
This may be one of the few times I think I can answer, but my experience with the C4FM FT70D is that I just tuned in the frequency and it automatically understood it was a repeater and communicated without me configuring a tone like I've had to do on the FM analog one. Back to you, net control.
Okay, well, I'll try that N0EYZ. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, everybody can have some input there. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't know on that either. So yeah, it doesn't seem like you need a PL tone requirement for that C4FM repeater. it probably just wouldn't work unless you're using C4FM. It'll probably just, it won't even probably key it up even, probably. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Any other comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, please call now.
W0TX repeater.
All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I can bring up a few things here. rmham.org, a Rocky Mountain Ham group we were speaking about earlier, they're bringing up they have this NerdFest 2021 coming up here this weekend, Saturday the 13th. You can find more info. You should be able to find it on their rmham.org, I believe. I forgot how I found that. The information that I have, though, is there's going to be a few conversations here, quite a few, on looks like kind of internet side of things, and some tools that are used for testing basic internet connections. There's a talk by given on OBS software for transmitting your for streaming your video and audio. There's a logging application. Somebody's going to be speaking about Forester. There's going to be a talk on slot antenna, care and feeding of a 501c3. So pretty important that we are able to keep our nonprofits working correctly and by the law and keep each other on our feet here and make sure that we all understand how things work. So that's a pretty good talk there. RTCMs, I was looking that up earlier, and then there's going to be a QMesh talk. RTCM, so is the Radio Technical Commission for Maritime Services, international standards organization. So quite a few talks. I'll try to find how I got this here, or it should be rmham.org. You should be able to find the NerdFest 2021 info. Oh, I think it was, I had signed up, if you sign up for their RMHAM University, that is what it must be through, that is what it was through. So if you go to the RMHAM University and sign up, just sign up for the RMHAM University, you would create a login, put in your call sign, email, name and password, and then you will be able to log in, and then it should start sending you an emails of upcoming RMHAM talks, and this was kind of just one of their RMHAM kind of thing. So that's, or their RMHAM, the university. So that is what is through. All right, let me see what else I have here. Looking at a story here on arrl.org/news. Kind of a theoretical story of the what a perfect coronal mass ejection could look like, and there is initial talk given or information in 2014 of from JPL, and then there's a follow-up here recently of they believe that let me see, other key results of the new survey is how CME would distort, compress Earth's magnetosphere. The strike would push the magnetopause down until it's only 2 Earth radii above Earth's surface. Satellites in Earth orbit would suddenly find themselves exposed to a hail of energetic and potentially damaging charged particles. So this is, they believe it will happen someday. There is no real timeline on that given, but this is kind of just theoretical, what would happen if. Tom Costello. I'm sorry, this is K1DBC Net Control. We've spoken about the intersection of the internet and ham radio is quite big, and there's a lot of avenues with it. There's a pretty neat person here, KD96 Kilo Delta 9 Charlie Papa Bravo.com, Tom, KD9CPB.com. He just randomly had posted up a toolkit for a lab for CCNA. Basically, if you want to get into network engineering, he kind of set up an interesting lab scenario for what's called GNS3. It's a simulation software. So just intersection, and this just guy is a ham radio person, so it's just really cool things. He has some DMR things he's been doing, and yeah, just really neat there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I didn't really bring this up when it initially came out in early January. It was about a month ago. Andreas Spies is a YouTuber. He's a Swedish YouTuber, he'll say. And most of his videos are on electronics. They are purely and very similar to what we're doing here. So it's I would just go check out his channel anyway. A lot of Raspberry Pis and Wi-Fi and Nano VNAs. He does a lot of work, and Arduinos. One of his recent videos was about trust and complexity, how trust kills complexity, and he kind of goes into he kind of talks about Jack Ma, who is I think the CEO of AliExpress, and he kind of goes into how the Chinese government is cracking down and what it looks like. So this is just kind of an interesting talk, just kind of out there, but yeah, I'd check it out. So Andreas Spies on YouTube. That's spelled ANDREAS, last name SPIESS. This is K1DBC for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I really don't have much more. I can dig up a few things, but I'll throw it out to the net. Does anyone else have any other comments, questions, topics, or anything else you'd like to bring up for the net? Please go now.
CUC comment from frequency earlier?
Yeah, CUC, go ahead.
So I don't know how I missed this earlier, but on the CCARC site in the top left, they actually have a hotspot comment where they outline the recommended bands, and so it looks like it's 438.450 through 438.675 they're recommending, so I just thought I'd share that. And anyway, back to net. Thanks again for all the advice. KF0CUC, clear.
Appreciate the follow-up on that. Yep, I just skipped right past that as well, and they have, yeah, just right on the top there, you just go to ccarc.net, and it is just the first link there. It was from December 22nd, and yeah, 438.450 through 438.675 on very specific frequencies here. Very neat. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning. Anyone else have any other topics, comments, questions, anything else you'd like to bring up at the moment? Please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Great blog to read over on rtl-sdr.com. Most recent news story is about a wideband DC to 20 gigahertz quantum receiver, wideband. And this is from the U.S. military, the U.S. Army. Research scientists have, using Rydberg atomic sensors, been able to receive the entire RF spectrum. Nothing that I can even try to think about or speak about. But this is the beginnings of quantum computing, quantum technology, quantum radio. So the Army, I'm sure, has always been, 5, 10, 15 years ahead of, or militaries in technology is I think, quite ahead of in consumer technology. So if they're releasing this now, I think this was from 2019, we may, in the next decade to 2 decades, see a wideband DC to 20 gigahertz quantum receiver. So interesting article on how the U.S. Army described how they built a quantum radio that can receive DC to 20 gigahertz. The paper is published in the Journal of Physics, B, Atomic, Molecular, and Optical Physics, and is available on Sci-Hub. Let me drop for a moment. Quoted here, the Rydberg sensor uses laser beams to create highly excited Rydberg atoms directly above a microwave circuit to boost and hone in on the portion of the spectrum being measured. The Rydberg atoms are sensitive to the circuit's voltage, enabling the device to be used as a sensitive probe for the wide range of signals in the RF spectrum. Army researcher Dr. Kevin Cox notes how this is the first implementation that can operate over such a wide frequency range. All previous demonstrations of Rydberg atomic sensors have only been able to sense small and specific regions of the RF spectrum, but our sensor now operates continuously over a wide frequency range for the first time, said Dr. Kevin Cox, a researcher at the U.S. Army Combat Capabilities Development Command, now known as DEVCOM Army Research Laboratory. This is a really important step towards proving that quantum sensors can now provide a new and dominant set of capabilities for our soldiers who are operating in an increasingly complex electromagnetic battle space. All right, to finish that up, it states quantum radios may be one of the next big leaps in radio technology. However, as they require lasers in the space of a small laboratory, the technology will probably be restricted to the military and institutions for the time being. Some more info on that, rtl-sdr.com. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I can probably bring up some other things, but we're nearing the end of the net. There's no hard stop, but we usually end around 8:30, 20:30 p.m., or 20:30 Mountain Time. If anyone else, any other comments, questions, check-ins, or anything else you'd like to bring up for the net, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control over on hackaday.com, another great blog to read. Few articles here. It's about this blog in general is about for hobbyists, students, professionals, engineers of any kind, any ilk. If you have any interest in electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, computer science, this is the place to come and check things out. Radio related, let me see here. Looks like somebody's doing a restoration on an 83-year-old DeForest 7D832 receiver. So some pretty interesting. He's done a 3.5-hour video, so it looks like a full restoration if you ever want to see a 1938 restoration of a receiver. And it looks like he introduces a pretty cool front dial there, or at least fixes that up there. Again, this is on hackaday.com. It is a blog for engineers, but they are starting to realize how important ham radio is to get into electronics. So they have a recurring post called the $50 Ham. And this one is just entitled Digital Modes and WSJTX. So we've spoken about it a little bit, but they kind of break down who Joe Taylor is. Let's see, K1JT. He has a Nobel Prize in Physics, Draper Medal, Wolf Prize. He's a PhD at astronomy from Harvard in 1968, and he's been a physics facility at Princeton in 1980. So he has pretty much founded how we do low power transmissions and weak signals, things like that. So they kind of delve into him and WSJTX and how to use that. So if you ever had any questions on that, that might be an article check into as well. All right. If you live in Europe, you have an opportunity to potentially become an ESA astronaut. Let's see here. So let me drop here. Some more info on that over on esa.int, as well as hackaday.com. They call for new astronauts. So they're putting out a call for the public. So pretty interesting, interesting thing there. See one last article here, I think, from hackaday.com. 3D printer makes a ham antenna portable. Looks like call sign November 2 Mike X-ray X-ray has an end-fed antenna winder design that also contains the necessary matching toroid. End-fed configuration is handy for portability because you can easily secure one end and feed the other end. Compare that to a dipole where you have to feed a high point and secure both ends. You also need a wire and some other components, 3D printer. So he has put up on Thingiverse a antenna winder for end-fed half-wave HF antenna. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. I don't have much else at the moment. If anyone else wishes to check in or bring up anything else for the net, please call now. All right, I was just looking over on reddit.com/r/amateur radio. And a question I've had and never really cared to look up, I guess, is when you see a 7.3 and sometimes in those digital modes like FT8, you'll see a DE, a Delta Edward. And so what somebody asks is, what does that mean? And so DE equals this is or from. It's what they're calling a Royal Trucks, saying 7.3. I don't think that's... so this is 7.3.
W0TX repeater.
JK.
Yeah, A0JK, Fred, go ahead.
Yeah, Morse code. Da-da, did-it-it, did-it-it, da-da. Nice rhythm to it. Means best wishes. 73, da-da, did-it-it, did-it-it, da-da. Best wishes.
All right, sounds good. Thank you there, Fred. Okay, there was a movie that I recently was watching about the UK the radar people that had set up things during World War II or One. I apologize. And let me see if I can bring that, because it was a pretty interesting movie here. All right, well, while I'm looking that up, I will do a final call. Anyone else have any other comments, questions, anything else for the net you'd like to bring up? Please call now. Okay, this is Daron, K1DBC for the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. Not hearing anything else, I will probably start to wrap things up here. So again, this will be the final call, and then I will. I did find it here, so I'll bring this up here in a moment. All right, the movie I was just watching recently is Castles in the Sky with Eddie Izzard, and it's it tells the story of mid-1930s, and storm clouds of World War II are forming, and it tells the story of UK radar scientists trying to bring up radar before the war starts and before the before the first attacks there. So. Lots to speak about Morse code and tubes and everything radio related. Pretty cool movie there. Castles in the Sky. Okay, with that, I will start to wrap things up here. My name is Daron, call sign Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. Thank you all for checking in here. Let's see. I think next week is going to be our club net. Let me bring that up here. Or club meeting. Yep. February 17th. More info, W0TX.org. 7 p.m. Presentation topic is Introduction to Digital Modes by Bill, WT0DX. He's going to give us an overview of current digital modes, including software, hardware, and operating techniques, recommendations, how to get started with FT8, Meteor Scatter MSK 144, and just a demonstration. So 7 p.m. for that. It takes place all online on meet.google. And then at 6 p.m. we have an Elmers session, which is very similar to this net here, just a very casual Q&A. Again, feel free to join that as well. So that is going to be February 17th. All right, this is K1DBC. If you wish to contact the Learning Net with topic suggestions or to set a date to act as net control operator or guest Elmer, you may do so at any time via email at drclearningnet@gmail.com. Feel free to join us on the air, and it's a very casual. If you'd like to be a net control, I'm more than happy to take check-ins for you, and then you can do the rest of it if you'd like, however you'd like. So we're here to help each other. If you have any interest in that, please let us know. You can visit us, our public mailing list, groups.io/g/ham learning net. We're posting material on past net topics on there, check-ins, as well as a link to the YouTube stream. Again, youtube.com/WEREGR8. You can find past nets. We host them live on there, and you can chat on there if you want, and past meetings. So feel free to join on there as well. All right, this evening we had a total of 15 check-ins. We'd like to thank and appreciate everyone who participated. We especially appreciate and thank our Elmers. Thanks to the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use the repeaters for this net. Again, we invite you to join us on the third Wednesday of the month, 6 p.m. for an Elmer session prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club at 7 p.m. Please join us next week for that. Again, more info, W0TX.org. February the 17th is going to be our next meeting. All right, everyone is welcome to that as well. With that, all stations please stand by while the repeaters are placed into normal mode.
PL on.
All right, thank you all for continuing to participate in this net as much as you'd like to, and don't ever hesitate to reach out for any help. That's why we're here. So again, 7-3 to all. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you all next time. I am Claire, KE0DC. Thanks everyone for continuing to join on the YouTube, and hope to be able to continue to expand this.